All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. We're going to do some Puzzle Rush survival. And then we're going to take a look at my game from last night. It was Tuesday night last night. I played my weekly tournament game, and we'll see how it went. All right. I don't know what that means, but okay. All right. Let's get started. Hopefully this whole multi-streaming situation is working out. All right. Well, they've hung their queen. I say we take it. They've hung their rook with mate. Let's do it. Oh, they've once again hung their rook with mate. Queen blocks but loses. Boop. And then hung mate. And our opponents are hanging lots of mates. Another mate. Bam, bam. Not super exciting yet. Oh, we got a queen in the face, mate. Is this mate? Yes. The bishop's covering it. So we got mate. Let's see. Okay. Ah, we've got Pilot. What's up? How are you doing? Okay, that's weird. It didn't come through on the restream thing. That means I need to have Twitch open also? I thought I was supposed to do that. What kind of service is this? Alright, I'm going to take a moment here to make sure everything's working right. What? Did it not? Oh, maybe I'm not even using it at all? I don't... I'm so bad at this. Okay, so we are live on YouTube, but not on Twitch. Okay, well that's fine. We'll just figure that out for next time, I guess. Living the dream in Dallas, Texas. Well, congrats on living the dream in Dallas. Happy to hear that. This is not mate, but that is mate. Boink. Queen in the face, mate. This is mate. King can't go anywhere. Is this mate? Yeah, because then when the king moves down, we mate. Okay, didn't have to do it. I was assuming it was like fork, but the king is not on that square, so that fork is not there. Is this some sort of race where there, we do win the race, but then they do immediately queen, but then we go here, driving the king over, check, pick up the queen. And if they go there, we don't care. Okay. Daniel's here. What is happening? How are you doing? For those of you who don't know, there's a new club on Lichess, the Chess Journeys Club. So make sure you check out the lovely Chess Journeys Club. I don't know exactly what we're gonna do with it. I made Fried Foxy a co-lead. This is his dream. I'm curious to see what he's got in store for us. He seems like a creative guy. I think we'll have some fun stuff with it. All right. If we put the rook on d2, double attack, they cannot move anywhere with the queen to guard the knight. They can't go anywhere interesting with the queen. So then we take the knight. We are up a whole piece and doing quite well. Seems reasonable. Okay. I think here, I mean, we could go here and force the rook off. Then our bishop is here. I don't know exactly what we're doing with that. There might be something better here. I'm not seeing the better thing, though. Okay, there's not anything better. Going home tomorrow. You saw the game with Dr. Skull. It was great. Nice. All right. Check. back here or here. Gonna have to go there eventually because that knight could go there. So check here. Then what? Oh, then we just take here. And we're... Oh, is that enough? I think it's enough. Their attack is not strong enough. Wow, I missed already one? That's fairly shocking. So there must have been something much better than what I did. And there is. This is mate. Foolish me. Foolish, foolish, foolish me. Oh, well. The most forcing move would seem to be check, check, check. Moves, takes. And then we're up 2 exchanges. That looks pretty good. Can't imagine we don't win up 2 exchanges. This square is targeted. It's not available. Oh, this is this pattern, though. It's check, here, here. Seems like this pattern has to come up at least once a puzzle rush, or it wasn't a real puzzle rush. How do you join this Chess Journeys group on Lichess? What a great question. Let me bring up the group. I think I can just send you the link. Oh, wait. 3 people tried to join. Let's see. Nick Vasquez. We'll accept him. F. O'Donovan. Hurry Joy. I don't even know how people are hearing about this team. I have not ever. You're the first person I told. And lots of people have been asking to join the team. So I'm not sure what's going on. There's already 8 members to this team. I think the way to do it is just to go to community teams, search for Chess Journeys, and ask to join. I don't see like a link to oh no, maybe this is it. Here, let's try this link. This may or may not work. There we go. And if that doesn't work, you can just say I don't have to browse for it. But that might work. Okay. Looking at a couple things. These are the 3 moves I'm looking at. I guess this also. So which one works best? Let's start with the ones where we don't give up a rook. Check. Must go down. I don't think that wins. Check. Takes. Check. There is mate. So is all that forced? No. They could take with the king. If they take with the king... doesn't seem like it works. There. Okay, I don't love that. Okay, let's try this again. Check. Must go down. Takes. Check. Mate. So he has to take. Then goes here, which is mate. Well, that's pretty complicated. But we got there. We got there, no problem. This is the game I was talking about. Rook takes a2. Okay, got there. I don't know what game you guys are talking about. That's just mate, right? Just a rook roller. Pretty easy. Check is the most forcing move. It doesn't look like it works. So what is a less forcing move? Check, takes. That does not work. If I push this now, I'm threatening to go there. And that works very well. And it looks like it works. They can't do anything but like sack. Okay. Okay, if we take that rook with the queen, looks like we lose. What if we go here? Takes. We would win. Yeah, this works. Wait, unless there's a check. No, they can't get out of the... no. They can pin me, but that doesn't do enough. Alright, the pin does nothing. Oh, I flagged on it? I had a brilliancy? Okay. I like the sound of that. I feel like my life doesn't have enough brilliancies in it. Okay, so check here. Check here. Check here. There. This looks like it works. I mean, it's kind of a standard pattern. It'd be kind of surprising if it didn't work. So I have to sack the queen to stop this. Okay, so this check looks like it should win. They block with the rook, they lose. They could block with the bishop, but then I just take with the queen, and then we still win. Because the rook is covering it. Also, that's a real problem of mine. Like, I can't remember any games very long. It's very, like, there are very few games I can remember, and they're all classical games because they're games I sat with a long time. So check here, there is mate. And they can't come out the other side. Oh, they can do that, though. Okay, that I was missing. I mean, Queen D1's the obvious move. Does Queen D1 work? It does, actually, because then we follow up with Queen G1, and the knight is cutting off the escape. I almost stopped the calculation there. Luckily, I saw the knight cutting it off. That's a big problem with my calculation. Stopping too early. This seems like a very reasonable move. It's not that forcing in a puzzle like this, though. There are no loose pieces on the board. That's important to note. If I go here, actually just take it. Let's look at material. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So the material's pretty much even. This is a tricky one. This is a tricky one. Okay. I guess C7 is quite vulnerable. So the point is, this guy's not hanging at the moment. But if I go here, take that pawn, it is now vulnerable. The queen has to move, can't defend the knight, and so the knight falls. Oh. Or they could counterattack. The camera is fuzzy. Okay. I'll fix it here in a second. Actually, I'll just fix it now. Why am I going to wait? Oh, boy. Okay, let's go with... Start with this. Let that fix it. Nope. My setup has so many problems these days. I don't know what the deal is. How do I turn off the camera? There we go. Deactivate. Activate. I should fix it. There we go. Can see me in all my glory now. If I take, and they take, and I take, and they take, that does nothing for me. If I take... Yeah, this is the way to go. I think this just moves the king up. But maybe not there, because it can get pinned. Probably here. Yeah. Go here. The queen doesn't hurt me, and then we mate. That check does nothing. This check is that great? Yeah, we would win a piece. And if they take this way... Check, and then that falls. So this works. Boop. All right, we got 25. We're doing okay. I feel like the answer is going to be that. Let's see if that works. Check. Here. Actually, we can't go there. Do we go there first is the question. Probably not. I mean, we might be able to get away with it, but let's see if we can be more forceful. So, b3 driving the king back. Then we could play queen d3. And if they move over to c1, it's mate. And if they go the other way, it's mate. Okay, yeah, so we have to go here. And then get mate this way. Alright, That certainly works. B3, king B1, D3 mate. Yeah. Okay. White to move this because of the pin. Looks like that works. Boink. Check if they go back. Okay, it's important to note that that whole diagonal is cut off. Okay, and if they come up, well, it's not actually mate. I was thinking it was because they could go here, but then that will not quite be mate. Very close. Maybe like here, here, then there. So it looks like they have to go back. Only to there. Then what, though? No, it doesn't work. Here, here, other rook here, there. Maybe other rook here. I'm not seeing this clearly enough. Rook check, king back. Rook check, king up. Rook check, b3, or maybe not rook check. Maybe check. There, here, there, bishop. Here. Here. That looks like the other rook. I mean, that looks like it works. Oh, if they go there, I think they get mated. Here, here. Ooh, that check is covered by the knight. Yikes! I missed that. Ooh, does that change things a lot? I mean, I guess I pick up a free knight this way, and that's good enough. But that is not how I thought this position was working out. Alright, so I don't know if I can claim I got that one right. Foxy is here! Did you see how many people are already in the club, Foxy? Man, the Chess Journeys Club is rocking. We got 2 more people who want to join. Pilot's in. Mr. Speed Limit Daniel is in. We have... Let's see. 10 members now. The 10 best people on Lichess, all a part of the club. That's fun. Maybe we'll do like, I don't know, we should schedule some club event. I don't know what that looks like. Challenge the Chess Dojo to a blitz match. They have like 1,000 members in their club. I don't think we're going to win that one, but it could be fun. Yeah, that was remarkably easy for being so late. All right. Queen's under attack. If we simply take, they take. We are even and not in the best shape. Not terrible. I'm wondering if more of like this works. So it feels to me like the back rank is very vulnerable. I'm just not entirely sure how to take advantage. I'm looking now at maybe here, takes, here, check, it's a queen. I guess they could block that way. Oh, then I could just run away. I think this works. And if that, we've got this. What? Oh, I guess I could have taken the other rook. How did I do wrong there? Oh, yes, here. Ugh, I feel like I calculated that. That is very, very similar to what almost happened in my game last night. All right, black to move. This is mate. Okay, we got to 30. If I can't get to 30, it's been a real bad day. And I am tired, and it was a long day, and this is checkmate. Can I take? Takes. Ah, they can't take, because that's mate, and then there's this, so this is good. Are we racing? Here, there, check. Doesn't look like we can skewer that pawn, though. We can't actually get... No, we can get back in time. What am I talking about? As soon as they move here, we'll go here. Yep, I realized as soon as I moved that now they can get in the box. Whereas if I had taken that way, I was too focused on the check and not focused enough on making sure the pawn could promote. So that was embarrassing. Yep, exactly, Daniel. Get out of the square. So I think it's really important to see why you made errors. And the error I made was, okay, I have it in my head. I'm going to go here and queen with check because it's a race. Then I realized, wait, it's not a race. I go here and I just take. And so I should have definitely reassessed and said, like, well, let's take a look. Oh, actually, this doesn't work. They're in the box. I have to go here, and now they're not in the box. That's why I missed it. Okay. Shall we look at my tournament game from last night? Yeah, I know. The king holds the pawn. I just messed it up. It's so sad. Ah, well. Mistakes happen, and they're horrible. Truly horrible. Okay, sorry about that. I'll restate what I was going to say. First of all, I agree. No engine. No engine. Second thing, this was a tournament game I played last night. It is the first game I've played in about 4 weeks, and I realized I was feeling some butterflies, right? Because I'm so used to just playing every single week. It's part of my routine. I'm never nervous about over-the-board games. But suddenly when you don't play for 4 weeks, it's like, am I rusty? My road to 2200 games haven't been going well. I was having some health issues, so my sleep wasn't great. Is this going to work out? Thankfully, I did feel fine. I quickly got over the nervousness, but it definitely was there. So this is my first game in a bit. Let's take a look. My opponent started with the English. Ooh. Anyone want to try to guess what I play against the English? I think it's kind of interesting to see. Can you predict what I would play against the English? I don't know. You might have even seen me play against the English. I don't know. What will I play against the English? Also, while you're deciding, the Dr. Skull Chessbot is officially coming to Chessiverse. They announced it already. Okay, we've got C5 and E5. Okay, that's what Daniel's saying. Anyone else want to throw out a guess? E6 or C6, Foxy thinks. Okay. One of you's right. The answer is I play E6 to try to get it into a QGD. Yep, you know me. I want to play the QGD. My opponent plays knight F3. I play D5. They play D4. Do we recognize this opening? Hopefully we do. Pretty standard opening. It's just a straight up QGD now. So I usually meet their knight with my knight. So they have their knight on F6. I'm going to play a knight on C3. I'm going to play my knight on F6. And then they play G3. And that weirded me out a little. I feel like most people going into... I don't know. I would call this a Catalan-esque. I mean, Lichess's database is not calling it a Catalan straight up, but it feels like a Catalan-esque thing. And normally in that, they put their knight on D2. So this was like Okay. So this feels a little weird to me that we're going this way. And normally when they play this move, I bring this bishop to here to check the king. They respond by blocking here, and then the knight can't go to the square it wants. So now it's already not on the square it wants, which just feels weird to me. So I just developed to e7 and said, this is where I want my bishop generally, so this should be fine. According to the database, it's the number one move. Of course, they fianchetto. They've set it up. I castle, and now I am, fully castled, ready to do a variety of things. I'm assuming they are gonna, go along this normal stuff. I'm gonna go here. They're gonna go here. I'm gonna go here. They're gonna go. I don't know. They have a couple choices to go here. Maybe they'll play this. I assumed I'd play like this, and I would just develop how I normally would against a Catalan. My opponent didn't do that. I was very surprised. Here, they took. And I was like, what is even happening now? Is this even a Catalan? Like, I don't understand where we are. So I took. Seemed like a very reasonable move. I'm clearly going to play c6 and then look at this bishop. Like, what is that bishop even doing if everything's blocked off? So eventually they'll probably have to play e4 and try to get the bishop in the game a bit. What about lines where you take the c-pawn? Yeah, I generally play the closed variation. I don't like taking the c-pawn. I just leave it there forever. Like, I never take it. I just let it there. But certainly, this would be like the Catalan declined, but there's definitely the Catalan take. So yeah. Okay. So Pilot says, why not take with the knight? If I take with the knight, I assume they're going to take back with the knight. And then I'm going to take. And I think that's fine. But remember, I already said, I think their knight is kind of misplaced on c3. It doesn't usually belong there. And my knight on f6 is quite good. Not amazing. But it just feels like, let's just do it this way. Keep the knight that I'm happy with and leave them with the knight that they're not as happy with. But maybe this is the problem, right? I'm like going off of Catalan theory, but maybe we're not in a Catalan. So I was really like, I don't know, is their knight misplaced? Or is this where the knight always goes, right? Like, it's very rare where you can be like, oh, knight on c3. What a misplaced knight, right? No, this is a good knight. Except for when we leave it on the board and I play c6, it's like knight can't go to most of the squares it would want to go to. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know if it's right. Take with pawn should be more popular. Yeah, let's see which one is more popular. Most popular is, according to the database, which we're winnowing way down. Only 7 games. Every game is pawn takes. All right. So not too shockingly, they bring the bishop out. I kind of feel like, and maybe I'm wrong here, but this just doesn't feel right to me somehow. Like, this is what you play against the QGD, but I don't think this is how you want to play the Catalan. But again, I don't know what we're in exactly. I feel like I can very easily continue making good moves, eventually kick this guy, and I don't know what's happening. Like, why bother play bishop g5? It's unclear to me what exactly it's doing. Oh, that's a good point, Foxy says. If knight takes, then we get e4. Yeah, right, exactly. And now this is not looking great. Like, I don't think I want this. This is pretty strong. They might even go here. So, yeah. I think that's a very good point. Okay. So they bring the bishop down. I could play h6 immediately. And I don't think that's... Oh, no, that is a mistake. And I think, actually, backtrack. I think they went here because it was a trap. Because if I play h6, the very natural move, exactly, they win the pawn. Here, here, here. So, it's weird because It's a trap if your opponent is terrible. And if the opponent is not terrible, they play the move that they wanted to play, which was c6, right? So it's kind of like, it's almost like a test. Like bishop g5 doesn't lose, and if your opponent's bad, then they lose. So, of course, I saw the trap. Like you said, I was planning to play c6 anyway, so I was like, okay, I'll just make the move I want to move. My opponent develops their knight. Seems reasonable. And here I feel like I have choices. So I want to play knight b to d7 to back up this knight. But why am I going to do that and imprison this bishop was my thought. So I'm thinking I should play the bishop out first and then do this. I could also play h6 first, which I thought was not bad, but I wasn't thrilled with this. If I go here, takes. I thought I'm going to put my knight here anyway. I think I would rather my knight recaptured here rather than being forced to like go around or not have a good square. I thought this was the final resting square for the knight. So that made me think if these are the three moves I'm considering, the best move must be getting the bishop out. This square is off limits. That's the knight square. So it's really these three squares. And I decided this square looks, it's quite menacing, right? It's controlling stuff. If they come back and immediately try to get my bishop, my plan, or one of my plans, was drop it back, let them take, get an open file, or just drop it back to e3. I mean e6, kind of depending on what I felt was best. Actually doesn't win the pawn? Okay, let's go back, because I thought in the moment that it definitely won a pawn. Okay, so here takes... Here. Bishop takes d4. Knight or queen takes. Oh, and then pushing the pawn. Oh, interesting. So maybe you're right. Maybe this doesn't win a pawn. Or does it? No, that doesn't work. Okay, interesting. So it doesn't actually win a pawn. But I do think still c6 is better. But it's funny, I stopped my calculation. One move too early. Wait, it does, since the pawn on d5 ends up weak in the end. Okay, let's go back. Oh my. This is what's funny about chess. So did I now stop my thing one too early again? Okay. So now here, I don't know what, queen goes back. We take. Yeah, right. And then we're back on. Boy, talk about continually stopping one move too early. Okay, so I went f5. I thought that was reasonable. They castled. Seems reasonable. And then I put my knight on the square I wanted it. So I'm feeling pretty good. I've got all my pieces on pretty reasonable squares. The real question now is like, do I try to jump into e4 with these kind of ideas? This is like a very standard motif. Do I bring the rooks around? Where do they belong? That's a bit unclear. Should I bring my queen out here and start poking around a bit? I wasn't really sure. My opponent went knight h4. And I decided, let's just make our opponent's knight bad. Like, this is just not a good square for the knight. Now, if it immediately goes back, okay, that's fine. It's not the end of the world. But they're going to have to take a move at some point to bring it back. They developed the rook to e1, which to me was clearly saying, I'm pushing e4. I'm going to push e4. You better be ready for it. And currently, if they get in e4, it felt like a problem, right? Like I take, maybe they take, I take, they take. Now they might be able to push here. My calculation was basically saying this is a bit of an issue. So let's first resolve this guy. Kick him out. I thought he was moving back. I thought The bishop can't really go here all that easily. I can do some annoying things with it. It's got to go back here or here. And I thought bishop's going to D2. And instead, whammo. Takes. And I was like, what? Carlsbad structure, so black wants to own the e-file and the king side attack. Yes, exactly. And I assumed at some point white would probably minority attack. Never did. I feel like this was one of those games where like opening knowledge helps. And it felt like my opponent just didn't have a lot of knowledge about we're in a Carlsbad. What are you supposed to do in a Carlsbad? Where fortunately for me, I've played hundreds of Carlsbads at this point. All right. So there's a real choice here. I very seriously considered this. Right? I'm hitting this knight. I'm hitting this pawn. This looks great. They move the knight back. I'm still hitting the pawn. Maybe I can go here, start piling up on the pawn. But I realized, like, it doesn't really do anything, right? Don't they just play e3 and now my bishop is staring at a concrete wall and my knight would rather be there? So that was my thought there. Does bishop g4 prevent e4 provoking the h-pawn push? Bishop g4. I considered that. I definitely considered this. Yeah, covering up that. I think I thought they would play here. And now they can still push the pawn. Wait, can they not push the pawn now because the bishop's covered? I think they can because of the rook, right? So takes. Yeah, I think they can still push it. Once played in a tournament where an IM parent scolded his son for that very thing. Oh, no. I learned that a fianchetto from the minority attack side does not work that well in the Carlsbad. Okay. Interesting. That may be. I don't know the fianchetto very well in the Carlsbad. Okay. So back to here. Yeah. I think knight takes has to be right. And we still have cool ideas with this, right? We can still do like some sort of discovery attack, win a pawn there. We got lots of things. So they brought the knight back and said, nope, we're not doing that. And here, this was a real moment for me where I was like, I don't really know. Should I put the rook here, which looks kind of reasonable? Should I move this rook somewhere? Should I just step up with the queen and like threaten this stuff? Like it feels like there are a lot of paths I could go down here. I could even go down this path. I don't think this is the right path, but I could certainly have gone down this path. There's just so many possible paths here. I decided to take kind of a poking, prodding path. I'm hitting this pawn. I'm hitting this pawn, obviously, not very effectively. But by hitting this pawn, if they push, then this knight is pretty loose and can be pinned at any moment. So I was kind of like, seemed pretty reasonable. All right, so Daniel likes knight e4. I just didn't think this worked. I thought takes, have to take, they go back, and now what do you want to do from here? Okay, you want to play f5, which I do think is certainly a possibility. Just the structure felt odd to me. It's hard for me to put that into words of what it was about the structure. Maybe it's because I don't recognize it as something I've seen a lot of. I'm wondering, can they play f6 or f3, I guess? It looks like probably not. Although, again, it's like, this looks, I don't know, how are we going to do this? Like this, sack a pawn, and have a big attack, maybe? I don't know, I just wasn't really sure how to follow up on f5. Okay, so Daniel's saying, no, just some kingside expansion. Yeah, and that seems reasonable. We could even go here, we could go here. We could do all kinds of things. Maybe here even. I don't know. Yeah, put the light squared bishop on d5. Certainly looks reasonable. So, I'm not saying your idea is wrong for sure. I'm saying in the game, I felt a little weird about it. Also, I had to see that from back here, right? So I had to be able to see very clearly that this stuff looked reasonable. And I think it's because as a position I don't recognize that well, I had a really hard time evaluating what exactly that would look like. So I took kind of the easy way out and just went over here and said, let's just see what happens. And so they blocked, or they covered it. And I immediately regretted that because I was definitely considering going here first. I was like, maybe I should go here, and then I'm covering this, but I decided not to. So I went here. They went here. Queen takes d4. D pawn hangs at in the line we were looking at. Okay, yeah, maybe. Okay, but I went here. They played queen c2, and then even this move, I was like, I don't know if this is good. It feels very like it doesn't really do that much, but I don't know. I just thought let's try it. We'll annoy him a little bit. And my opponent decided to play e3, which I think was reasonable. Just they have no real problems, right? Their position is fine. Am I really gonna take here? That seems quite unlikely. And at some point very soon they're gonna play a3, and I'm gonna have to make a decision that I probably don't want to have to make. So here, because this piece is pinned, I could actually go here. And I'm putting more pressure on this piece now. So I decided, sure, I'll go there. I assumed what I was looking at was like knight back, f3, kick the knight gets kicked, a3, the bishop gets kicked, everything kind of gets kicked. Yes, Foxy, I was actually not planning to trade the bishop. I was just trying to prod a little bit. But you're right, it's like pretty time wasty. So if we go all the way back here, the problem was I just wasn't really sure what the plan was. And I think, Daniel, you're right, that like that's how the Carlsbad works, right? I should be engineering some sort of kingside attack, but I'm not used to playing this side of the Carlsbad. So I kind of went off track. They played e3. I put my knight in the middle. They went back. I cemented with the knight, assuming f3 is coming, and they played f4. And I was like, what? I think that is a truly horrific move. Because, one, this pawn is incredibly weak. If I can somehow like extract this knight and leave this pawn and just double rooks on it, it's one weakness that they're going to have to deal with the whole game. It's probably not enough to win with the principle of two weaknesses, but it's going to be very hard to deal with. And then secondly, if they're like, okay, I can't have that, I'll trade. Like, this pawn is just brutal. It's holding on to so many squares. It's nullifying this bishop. It just felt to me like f4 was like a truly, truly awful move. I don't know if you guys agree with that. Maybe I'm overreacting, but when he made it, I was utterly stunned. And I don't know if f3 is great. It seems like, you know, they're weakening their king a little bit, but then they can follow up here. So, like, let's say, I think my plan was to drop back here. And then if they play here, this doesn't look too bad for them. Like, maybe this is even much better for them. I wasn't entirely sure, and it's one of the reasons why I almost didn't bring my knight up here, but again, I wasn't quite sure what else to do. But they went they went here, and I just thought, well, now I'm winning. Now winning, like, I've won, but, like, I have the advantage. In a pretty even game, I have the advantage. So I went here, and it's a pretty basic threat, right? Like, we're on this a whole bunch of times. They have to do something, and they do. They play there, hitting my queen. That is the move I thought they would play. And the next several moves, I accurately predicted what my opponent was going to do, and these were the moves I was planning on. So they chased my queen. I decided to drop back. They chased my bishop. Not trading. At this point, I'm kind of assuming they're going to take here, here, and I'm going to have a pretty big space advantage, and I didn't necessarily want to trade off all the pieces. Then they went here, I assumed they would do, with the idea of going here. So I went here. I have some ideas. Some ideas of maybe some sack is going to materialize here. Or maybe I can force them to move one of these pawns and everything falls apart. They put their knight in here. And this is where I decided, and I decided this a while back, that if they wanted to make this trade, that's actually great. I'm very excited. They're taking one of their knights that can go into all these nice juicy squares for this bishop that is doing utterly nothing. And I don't know what its long-term prospects are. It doesn't look good. So I just backed it up. I decided to do this with my rooks. Kind of coming back around what Daniel was saying, being on the king side. They took, I took, and I was very happy. I'm even closer to just doubling up on that weakness. So they took, and which way am I going to take? They just took my knight with their fianchettoed bishop. Okay, good question. The opponent is rated 1702, somewhere between 30 and 60. I don't know. He's a full adult. And, no, you didn't miss that part. He's a full adult, and is pretty, he's about my level. He's about my level. So, yeah. All right. So Pilot says F takes. The advantages of F takes would be it's a pretty good pawn, right? It's going to be hard to deal with. What I thought, though, is I have no idea how I would win here. There are no open files to use my rooks. My bishop is not doing anything. I just feel like this is pretty drosh. I don't see how I could win with F takes. Now with rook takes, this is a big problem. They have to find a way to guard this as the entire game. And look how simple it's going to be to triple on this pawn. Right? So they're going to have to bring the king up. They're going to have to guard with the queen. And this alone will not win the game, of course. But it forces them to have to deal with this problem the whole game. My guess would be, and I think we're going to do it real quick. We're going to flip on the engine. What if we took here? I will be willing to bet it's very close to zeros. The engine says -0.2. We're going to call that zeros. Right? It's like how do you handle that? Oh, sorry. You got killed by an ad. My bad. So if we take here with the pawn, they have no weaknesses. I personally don't see a way to win. The engine also agrees there's no way to win. If we take with the rook, this is not winning. This pawn isn't immediately dropping. But they have to spend all of their resources dealing with it, whereas our resources can maybe wander around a bit. I might have retreated my knight at some point. Yeah, I know. I agree, Daniel. There was a lot of moments where I was like, especially when we're like here, or maybe earlier, where I'm like, oh no, at any moment they can take here and I'll be forced to take this way. And then it's basically a draw. And thankfully, my opponent allowed me to first do this and then take with the rook. So I'm thinking I am actually now pressing for a win. It will be very hard to win this. It might be unlikely. The engine might even say we're a draw here. But I've got shots now. Okay, so they come in here, desperately hoping they would do that. Which piece do you think is better? My bishop that has no hope at all until this position opens up, which doesn't look like it will, or their knight, which has juicy squares and can do a bunch of stuff. So I take, and they take. And I'm like, all right. We're down to just the heavy pieces. Because also that knight would have been, let's go back for a second. This bishop, highly unlikely, can ever hit this pawn, even though it's the right color. This knight goes here and guards it. So this feels like a really great trade for me. So I'm excited. And I'm like, oh, now we're really pressing. Okay. My opponent does have this attack. And I made the decision that if they're going to let me have this pawn for this pawn, I just can't imagine that's not better for me. I've taken out their central pawn. This pawn on d4 is now incredibly weak. This just feels like it has to be right. Let's say they come in here. How would I handle this? Maybe I would just go here. And then once again, I'm threatening to win the rook Takes. Yeah, and I'm threatening if they take, then I'm in. Yes, they're guarding this at the moment, but I can always go here, guard it. This is weak. Lots of weaknesses. I feel like I'm in really good shape. I don't know if I would have taken the knight. Ooh, interesting. Let's go back to that. Why would you have not taken the knight, Daniel? Because I was excited. I thought this was great. Kicking the queen is a free tempo. Okay, so we'll talk about that in a moment. Okay, so Daniel says he's not taking the knight. Tell me, Daniel, why aren't you taking the knight? I want to hear this. Because I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying it certainly seemed right to me. Because I thought two things. First of all, their knight is better than my bishop. Second, I'm pulling their queen away from the defense of the pawn, so they're going to have to take another tempo to go guard it. It seemed like a good idea to me. All right, while Daniel's answering that, let's talk about Pilot's thoughts. Pilot says we can just kick this queen here, right? My idea with that is, if we kick this queen, haven't we just made a new weakness that they can target? Like, let's say they go here, and maybe your idea is to keep pushing, and then like takes, but now this is weak. So it just feels like we are creating a weakness in our camp when we don't have any weaknesses, and they do. That was my thought, Pilot. Pilot, it's not all about what you can give, right? We're all learning from one another. That's why I like to go over these games with you guys. I'm certainly not showing off my chess skills. I'm hoping to learn from you all. All right, let's see. So Foxy says, don't trade a pawn that is not weak long-term for a pawn that is my instinct. Okay. I really think that is a great point, Foxy. So what Foxy is saying is that by going here and giving up this pawn, that doesn't have to be weak. And this pawn is already weak. So why are we trading this? And my thought was just we get to infiltrate so much. Like if they go here, we're infiltrating. It just felt like it wasn't just I was getting the pawn. I thought I was getting in there. Maybe I'm wrong. Daniel says you can push G or H pawn so often to soften the dark squares to make a bishop good. Okay. Like that. So you're saying you feel like we should not trade the knight because, I don't know, maybe we can go here, maybe we go like this all softens up, and then suddenly this diagonal, which is complete granite, might crumble, and then we're just dominating. And that's a good point. That is definitely a good point. I think it's a different perspective on what you're seeing as the way to win. I was seeing the way to win was this pawn, but to be honest, I don't think it is. I don't think it's enough to just say, I'm going to win that pawn and win. I don't think I can win the pawn. I don't think it's possible. So the thought was, make them put all the resources into it and then Karpov them and make another weakness elsewhere. So I think you might be right, Daniel. Let's see. Can we see what that would look like? Let's say, all right, so you did say knight c5, rook e7, and then double up rooks. And then g5. So something like, where is it? Knights after knight c5, you want to go rook e7. So bring this rook back, double rooks, and then hammer g5. So if they take, then our rooks are going in. If they don't take, we've got options. Maybe we're pushing. Yeah, interesting stuff, Daniel. Although white has knight d3 and knight e5. Yeah, that's the thing I was most worried about, is that this knight was going to do something like this and then be like, okay, the knight on c5 is kind of worrying. Also, I was a little worried about this move. It defends the pawn, and now they're on our weakness. And so my thought was, if this knight is gone, this is not a weakness. This rook can never attack this, so it's not a weakness. So these are all the different things we're kind of like wrestling with, right? So that's what makes chess so interesting and hard. So I decided, take it. Let's get it out of there. And like Foxy said, I don't know, maybe it's wrong to be willing to give up that pawn. They guard it, and now I'm not willing to give it up, right? That was temporary. So now I do this. I'm not playing this way, again, as I already said, because I feel like this is weakening my position. Now, this is under fire. So I'll just play this. everything's set. I'm golden. I have 0 weaknesses. My opponent has 1. It is 1-0 in the weakness department. So my opponent comes here. Seems like a bit of a weird move. I guess maybe. I don't know exactly what they're trying to do. Clearly, these are attacking each other. I decide to just triple and say, ball's in your court. I'm tripling on the pawn. And I'm hitting your queen. So I kind of felt like if they take here and I take here, then what was my idea here? I think my idea was to go like here, 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 and try to like make something happen. I didn't think this was winning, to be clear. But also I didn't think the other way was winning as well. I couldn't really find a way that I thought was winning. Daniel says queen f7. And that might have been the better idea, right? Is to do this idea, but have the queen on the board. So we can do all kinds of different things, come in this way. Like, yeah, I think you're right. I think this would have been the more promising way to try to actually win. I think this was a little too soft. Luckily, my opponent just blundered the game away right here. Can you see a reasonable move that would blunder the game away? All right. The reasonable game move that blunders the game away is I'm attacking their queen. So what do? You back up your queen. I don't like offering queen trade here. Yeah, I think you guys are definitely right. Definitely the move was here, at least threatening that. But they didn't take. They backed up their queen. And I think, yeah, exactly, b4. I think they miscalculated. Because there are 2 lines here where white is fine and 1 line where white loses. So, of course, it took me a second. I was like, wait, what? Huh? They can't play b4. I calculated that. And I was like, what? I don't understand. And then I'm like, oh, duh. Right. They just missed something so basic that, like, I forgot for a second. And so I think what they might have missed, or we might have miscalculated, is that here I lose in a lot of these variations. Like if I take this way, I lose. If I take this way, I lose. But if I take this way, I win. So he takes, I take, and this is kind of a moment of truth. What am I doing? Am I going into the king-pawn endgame where I'm up a pawn? Those are usually winning. But this one's kind of hard to, like, calculate to the end. So let's talk about, like, do you think I should trade here? Not trade here? How should I trade here? And what is my plan if I do trade here? While you guys are thinking that and putting in, I'll be right back. I'm going to check on my kid. All right. Let's see what you all decided. Create a passer. Wait, did your opponent have rook e5, rook e4, you mean? I don't know. Let's go back for a second. Where would that be? Be after here? No, be after here. My opponent have rook e4. Where would my opponent have had rook e4? You mean rook e5? Do you mean here? I don't understand what the question is. Maybe that's what you mean? Okay. Daniel says he would trade rooks. Whoops. Okay. Why would you trade rooks? What's your plan? I thought I had a good plan. Okay. And that seems reasonable, right? I think we can look at this and say, I think king pawn ending up a pawn should be winning almost no matter what. The plan I saw was, at first I was going to go here to trade rooks. Because I thought I was winning a tempo. And then I realized, no, wait. If I take here, I actually drive them back. And then my king can get to the center very fast. Okay, rook e5. I don't know. It seems like rook e5. Rook e5 at a minimum. I think we're back here. Oh, okay. Yeah, that is interesting. If I take, they get a passer. I don't know. Do they go this way? That is interesting. Yeah, maybe that's pretty decent, actually. I didn't even consider that. My opponent didn't either. We just went wham, wham, wham. Okay. But this was my plan. I bring my king to this square. I push here. I push here. This ends up as a pass pawn. And then that should be enough to win. Because if they... You know, if he has to keep guarding this pawn forever, then I can probably, you know, break down over here or somehow break down over here, and that should be enough to win. With both rooks on. Okay, yeah. Either way seems pretty good, actually. Like here. Yeah, I mean, either of these seems pretty good. It is a great point. I don't know how we're breaking through there. Pilot asks why you explain it too much to write. Oh, gotcha. Wait, what did Pilot ask? Pilot asked... Oh yeah, why the rook e5. Yeah, I don't know. It seems reasonable. Maybe I don't trade rooks, actually. Like, what if I don't trade rooks at all and I just say I will... Like, push here, 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 and then trade rooks? Maybe that's the way to do it. When it's just the two rooks. Oh, why don't I put the rook on e4? Interesting. Wait, when it's just the two rooks. It's two rooks here. Right. Why don't I go rook e4? You know what? That's interesting as well. But my opponent can just move out of the way and say, I'll go here, and I am going to challenge you to say rook endings are normally draws. Good luck winning this. That was my worry. I thought that if I try to trade, it will be better. Because then the rooks will be off the board, and I'll be able to execute my plan. And I think my plan works, actually. I think it's quite good. Like, if I go here, I don't know exactly what does my opponent do. Here, here. Maybe they go here to stop g5. I go here. It's kind of unclear to me what they're doing now. I don't think they want to bring the king back. Maybe they'll go there. I go here. Takes. This feels winning, right? Like, if they have to stay in range of this pawn. If they sort of leave it, it feels like I can just take this pawn and run this up. This feels pretty good. Their king is cut out, and the rook is passive. I agree, Foxy. I agree that this seems strong. I'm not saying this doesn't seem good for black. What I'm saying is this feels like it's much more in the realm of the draw versus what I calculated, which I thought was a straight-up win, right? I make the passer. I support it with the king. I can do the chicken in the coop technique if I need to. I can let them have the pawn and go eat other pawns. Like, that looked like a clear win to me, whereas this looks like I'm winning, right? Like, I have a better position. They're going to have a very hard time. But rook endings are very hard. And I just thought, like, this is a hard winning position. The way I went felt like a clean winning position. But yes, I think you're probably right, Dan. I think probably both paths lead to victory. So this is what happened, though. I thought, okay, actually, before I go over here and do my whole thing, I got it all planned out. I want to go g5 first. So that when they go takes, Now, like, the king can't get in. They can't really do anything over there. It's going to be kind of easier for me to come eat these pawns. And I thought, this is what we're doing first. Then the plan's easy. Now the plan's easy. The game's over. And my opponent went here and went, really? Plan's easy. The game's over? If I run my king over, they're just going to take, and my life is a mess. If I take, they go here, and my life is again a mess. Because if I come over here to try to take this, well, then they're on my pawn. Not only are they on my pawn, they're closer to the pawns. And it's like, wait, what? Yes, exactly, Pilot. But what if they go h4? Oh, man. So, I don't know. What do we do here? Is this just a draw? In my analysis that I've done without the computer, I feel like this is the moment where I gave it away. If I did give it away, or at least temporarily gave it away. Like, the other way seems super clear. I don't see how I don't win. But this seems tough. So I decided I'm not taking here. This seems utterly horrible. So instead I can go here, and if they take here, this doesn't seem that bad. Maybe then they go here. Though it's like, uh-oh, now what? I don't know. Pilot says push the G-pawn. So I didn't want to push the G-pawn for this reason. I pushed the G-pawn. My king can't go anywhere. I can't do my plan where I come over here. I have no way to win. In fact, I might have a way to lose. I don't know. Maybe they're going to just drop their king in here and say, we got to draw. So it just felt like this didn't win. You think I take on h4. Okay. So I take on h4, and they take, and I come up, and they come down, and then what? I'm like here, here, here. I don't know. Where do I go? Here, here. This doesn't seem great. Maybe this exact spot. No, it's Black's move. Even worse. Black can't even go here. Black goes here, here. We're barely even being back in time to stop the pawn. And clearly we've lost. G takes h4. I think you're winning. I don't think so. Let me see your line. Let's go back. Okay, so we're here. G takes h4. How are we winning after this? No king g6. Okay. What does that mean? We do this idea? I went to the wrong square. What square do I go to then? F6? E6? If I get too far from this pawn, it feels like it just runs on me. Alright. So let's see. What are my choices here? If I go F5, and I just bring the king down, I can't get any of these squares, and the king's going to here. If I go E6, I feel like it's the same problem, only worse, because when they get their king up, then the pawn is protected. Put the you go to G6. Okay, isn't that what I did? Yeah, I went to G6. Oh no, in the game I went to G6. Sorry. Yes, I went to G6. And then the reason I came up with is I could go like this. And I thought this was winning. I thought I had won the game. So my opponent goes here. I won here. Oh, you're saying after takes. I'm sorry. So you're saying takes G6. Got it. I still don't think that worked. I think they go here. And then what are we doing? Yeah, I know. I don't know how to... I thought the Streamlab had to be on there. I'll do some research and see if I can remove it. If he goes here, then I don't see how we hold this together. Like, I just couldn't see a way to do this. Okay, here we go. Daniel says here, we're going G takes, King G6. Yeah, I got there eventually. But I still don't think that this works. Okay, but it's their move, so they go here. We go king h5, they go here. And now what? Also f4 for us. I don't think f4 works, right? Doesn't f4 just give away the pawn? I'm a bit unclear on that. Okay, so take. Okay. So you want to go here, 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 takes. And then I imagine you want to come around. Oh, that's right. They can't go here. But maybe... Wow, does that actually work? Let's do some racing. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a lot. It's a lot to do anything. And I go 1, 2, 3, 4, gone. You know what? You know what, Daniel? You know what, Daniel? That looks like it works. Hold on. I'll be really upset with myself if that actually works. Okay, so where were we? We were here. Takes, here. I think I wanted to go here, here. What if they just guard the pawn? Then what? I can't go here because now I don't. Well, maybe that works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I could just go here and force them down this way and be okay with that. And then they can't get in, I think. The painful way to watch, impossible to effectively. I know it's very hard. But I don't know. Maybe you're right, Daniel. Maybe this does work. I don't think so, but it's possible. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so I didn't do that. Instead of taking, I thought I had the win. I thought I could go here, come up, and win. And he came in, and I was like, yep. I go here. They go there, because they can't move their king. Or so I thought. I thought that would be Zugzwing, and I would win. B6, A5, and this is a real moment of truth. If I push this, I can no longer make a pass pawn. I can no longer make it. We'll come back to your idea, Matthew, in a moment. I can no longer make a pass pawn here, but I didn't think I needed to. I thought I had take. I thought I had. They move the king over. We've Zugzwinged them. We come in. It's ball game. And they went takes. Because I thought, like, okay, it's Zugzwing. They move back. I think this is what I was calculating. And then it's like, I should be, well, no, actually, maybe that specific line doesn't work. But I had lots of lines where it works. But they didn't do that. Whoops. They went there, took. And I was like, oh, no, I have to take here. And draw. And I was like, what? What? That's a draw? I thought I had the guaranteed win there. And so I went like this and like this. And then I offered the draw. And he took it. And then he leans in and he's like, I'm really sorry. And I was like, argh. Okay. So let's go back to what is obviously the most important position, which is h4. Okay. So Matthew is saying, what if here we just push f4? I didn't think that worked. I thought they would take. And then, I don't know. What's our plan? Probably take. Here. Here. Takes. And I don't know. How do we win here? Here. I guess maybe they can... We can try to come down here and make a passer still with this plan. Does that do anything? Takes. Here. You know what? That looks like it works just fine. What? Did I really have that possibility? Of just coming back down that way and still doing all of this? I didn't think I did. Oh, no, it's because I pushed everything and ended it. So maybe F4 works too. You don't have to respond with A5 with B5. Yeah, that was a big mistake. I thought I did. Let's go over to that. So I thought that if I went B takes, B takes, now it's not Zugzwang. It's my move. And I didn't know how to win from here. I thought the whole point of this position was Zugzwinging them away so I could get my king in here. I thought like here, I'd have to go like here. I don't know, here, here, here. And I didn't see the way to win from here. Let's see. Am I just barely fast enough? You know what? It looks like I am. It looks like I just played this all wrong. That's what it's looking like to me. Kingside pawns get liquidated. You're still winning. No. Yeah, it wasn't about liquidating. It was about the Zugzwang. There's a position where I thought you could push the pawn before the king takes to move it back. I don't know what that maybe mean to move the king back. So, bottom line is, I had a lot of time here, by the way. I had like 45 minutes. So, they surprised me with this move, and I have 45 minutes to try to sort this out. So, it is not a time pressure situation. I just thought I made good moves, and I thought that this Zugzwang, this is what I calculated to. I thought this Zugzwang was winning. It just looks winning to me. Like, I moved their king out, I come in, they can't come back, it's Zugzwang again, and I win the game. That's what I calculated. And as we saw, it doesn't work, and it feels like maybe G5 wasn't drawing after all. Maybe there were some opportunities there. Chess is really frustrating. Like, you play this long game, and you do all this calculating. Like, I thought, like taking the rook here and forcing him into this end game and seeing the path to, you know, making the passer. I was really proud of myself, and I was like, yes, I've done it. I'm pretty good at end games now. Like, I tell myself I'm pretty good at end games, and then I lose or draw like so many of them that I should win or draw, and it is maddening. There's part of me that's like, you know what I should do? Only end games for the next year. But the problem is, I think I still wouldn't be like dominantly good at them. They're just really hard. Like, how do you study this end game, right? It's like there's so many pieces of it. It kind of feels like studying end games is just getting better at calculating. F5 should never have been played. F5 should have never been played? F5? This F5? I thought that F5 was a very good move. Cementing my knight? We're talking about way back there? Or are we talking about a different point? We're talking about here. I don't know what you're talking about, because F5 was long ago. Maybe you're talking about F4? I don't know. Oh, maybe you're just saying don't play F5? I don't know. G5. Yes, you're right. You're right. G5 was the move that didn't need to be played, right? Like that, whether or not it draws or not, it was totally unnecessary, right? If I just walk over, like, what was I afraid of? I was afraid they were going to go here, and I was going to go here, and what? I don't know. I don't know exactly what I was worried about. It was one of those, like, I have my plan, and I can play G5 first, and I'm fine. And then it's like, I guess not. Okay. Bride Foxy says, check my last message. You don't have to respond to A5 with B5. Yeah, I agree. I don't have to, but I thought I did. Oh, no, sorry, that wasn't your last one. After B5, King E3. Okay, let's go back to that. Let's go back to what Foxy has to say here. Boom, boom, boom. Instead of this, I go takes after B5. Okay, wait. So after B5, what? After B5. Okay, b5. Sorry, we didn't get to b5. Okay, so after b5, king e3, b5, king e3, perhaps g takes h4. G takes, king g4. Yeah, that is interesting. I totally agree. Because then they're kind of getting blacked out. Like if we go here, here, here. It's very similar to the position in the game. But the difference here is they have to deal with this pawn, right? So I think you're right, Foxy. I think that would have been a good idea. Another good idea. So there's like 100 good ideas here, and I didn't see any of them. It's very frustrating. Because like if we have... This pawn is not queening, right? We can see that. But it also means we might have time to execute this idea if they have to monitor this. So that's kind of like the way you win these endgames, right? Is you make them have to deal with your passer while you handle their other stuff. I don't know what happened. It just all spun away from me in like, you know, a handful of moves. When I thought, and this is something I noticed recently in like my Road to 2200 games, I get in this like inevitability mode. Like, well, that's what we have to do. And like, I guess no, that wasn't inevitability. I just calculated wrong. That's what it was. It was not inevitability. It was simply that I calculated that all of this would lead to this position and that I was winning. That was the problem. And so the question is, do I need to study more endgames? Or is it just simply my calculation needs to be better and I need to be ultra precise in endgames? That's really what I feel like I'm wrestling with. It's like, how do I solve these kinds of problems over the board? And I think it's by getting just better at calculating. So that was this game. I ended with a draw, which was really frustrating because the person's only like 5 points higher rated than me. So I probably will net 0 points from this draw. If I had won this game, I'm 1697. I'd have been back over 1700. It would have been fun. It's like a fun comeback. I haven't played in 4 weeks. I felt like I played super solid. I come back and get a hard-fought win. And then instead, I had that horrible, sour, bitter taste in my mouth of having the win and then just throwing it away. So, there we go. That is chess for us. Well, let's do one blindfold tactic, and then I think I need to go. It's been a while. This is the problem with not being on summer break anymore. There's so many things I have to do. Life has become much busier and more challenging. Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with the mic doing that. Yeah, exactly. Daniel says, we've had this one. That's why I very quickly just did it real quick because I remembered it very well. I think I've done it twice. Pilot says he has a question about helping out with Classic Chess Club. Yeah, let's hear it. What's your question? Okay, also what I said was, what did you guys think of the last game? What are your takeaways of it? I'm quite curious to hear what you all thought of it. My takeaway was like, I played well in that I didn't make mistakes. Haven't gone over the game with you guys, though. I feel like I played a little too passively, right? Like, kind of saying, not giving up, but having a mentality of like, this looks drawish. I guess it's drawish. Like, I'll trade the queens here if he wants to. I'll try to pressure that pawn. It's probably a draw. I was like a little too willing to do that. I don't think I fully understood my role with the black pieces in the Carlsbad, trying to get attacks on the king. I didn't really do that well. So I feel like I played like solidly, a little too passively, found the tactic when there was a tactic. The only moment where there was a tactic, bam, I saw it, I nailed it. But then, and then traded down to the right end game, found the right idea in the end game, and then threw it away in the middle. Study the middle game plans in that structure. Yeah, I think I agree with that. But the funny thing is, I've studied those plans so much from the white side, and I guess I don't really understand what black is supposed to do. I just do my thing. So I think that's a good point. I think the opening was great. Middle game was a little haphazard. Yep. End game should have been great until G5. Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree with much of that. Let's see. Pilot says, asked by my kid's school to help with the chess club. That sounds super fun. I sent them info for the U.S. Chess Trust about getting free kits. Ooh, is there any other resources I should look at? Wow, what a great question. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know at all what the answer to that would be. I would assume, like, if that happened with me, I would just, like, probably buy the club a few sets, bring a few more sets each time I come, maybe buy the club one of those cheapo clocks, bring my clocks, but I don't think that's a good answer. I think it's a much better answer to try to go through U.S. Chess, see if they can hook you up with stuff. I know there's some groups that are trying to get more chess to people, but I think a lot of those are like trying to bring chess to communities outside the U.S. I don't know exactly what organizations there are bringing chess to U.S. schools, but I'm sure there's lots of them. I think that feels like hopefully a Google search that comes up with a few options, but I don't know. Good question, though. And also, it sounds really fun. I think you'll have a great time with it. Okay, my last suggestion there is, you might have imposter syndrome, because you might be like, I'm not good enough to, be the person running this club. You are. The kids who are coming just want to learn chess, have some fun. They are not going to be good at chess. They're just like learning it and having a good time, and just embrace that, right? And if somehow one of those kids beats you, it's fine. Just be like, that's fine. Good for you. I'm happy for you. You found the lesson plans from chess kids. I'm a little concerned about teaching being so low rate. Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about, right? Of course you're going to be worried about that. Because you're like, I'm not that good. I'm only whatever my rating is. Everyone's better than me. These kids' rating is 0. They don't have, and I don't mean that, they don't have a rating yet. They're actual 0, because I've played against kids rated 100. They're quite good. These kids will probably, not know how the pieces move, half of them. The other half will play, h4, rook, h3 as their first 2 moves. So do not worry about your skill level. It will go fine. Maybe there's one kid at the club who's actually decent and will beat you even occasionally if you're not paying attention. And just embrace that and don't worry. I'll say there's a program that comes to my daughter's school, and the person, not a tournament chess player, my daughter is, right? I don't know if that guy is better than my daughter, but my daughter doesn't care. She's only going to the chess club to, see a quick lesson and have fun playing chess. She does not care how good this person is. He did challenge her, and she beat him. And then he said, you just got lucky. So they rematched the next week, and my daughter beat him again. And he said something else like that. Like it was a reflection on him as a person or something. Or it made him an invalid teacher somehow if he lost to one of the students. It doesn't. It's fine. If you lose to a kid, or even if there's a kid there who's like, oh, I'm 1700 USCF, and you're like, oh my goodness, you're way better than me. It's fine. Don't worry about it. They're just there to have fun with their friends, play some chess, hear your ideas. You can go through a game, have fun. It'll be fine. All right, those are my suggestions. Let's solve this bad boy. And I got to go do the dishes, I think. Arg. All right, Rook H to F8. All right, so we are both backing up the bishop, which doesn't really need to be backed up, but we're also threatening discoveries. Something like bishop d4 would then win the game. So they resolve that, and they go queen g6. Okay, so they're putting their queen on a better square. I don't think I have much more to say than that. Oh, I looked over for a second. I just saw the word spoiler, and I looked away. So thanks for saying spoiler first. Knight d5. So we are putting our knight in the middle. It doesn't look like a great move. Can't they just play? Oh, I guess if they take, we take with the rook. Seems fine. Okay, so we're putting our knight, back in the middle, maybe a better square. They do indeed take with the bishop, and we decide to take with the pawn. I don't think I like that. We're just like giving ourselves a weakness for no real reason. I don't quite understand the rationale there, but okay. So we have our pawn on d5, and we have our rook over on f8. Okay. They play c3. Okay. So they are... It doesn't make much sense. They're guarding the pawn, which is already backed up, but maybe... I mean, it's not the worst move, right? It's like they're connecting their pawns. Now their knight is free to move about. Seems reasonable. Queen f4. Okay, that seems very strong, right? So we've got a queen on f4, a rook on f8. If we are able to, we will play queen f2 check. They move the king back, and then we do that chess.com mate, where we go queen f1, rook takes, rook takes. Okay, and then they play knight c1. So they allow us to do that trick, but our bishop's in the way. It seems like we could just play bishop takes d4, check. How can they block that check? They can block it with... Oh, no, they can't block it with the knight. They can block it with a rook. So if they block it with either rook, they're still susceptible to the queen f1 mate trick. Sorry, the queen f2, then queen f1 mate trick. So yeah, it looks like that wins quite easily with a pretty standard trick. All right, so they take back, because remember they played c3. So then we go queen f4 to f2. They have to bring the king back. Check. They take. We take. Checkmate. Okay. Let's see what we got here. We've got bishop takes d4, c takes, queen f1. Oh, you missed a move in there, didn't you, Foxy? Because if you go queen f1 right away, they take, you take, and then the king takes. Ah, okay, yeah, you got that later. And Daniel got that. But you said takes f2. There's nothing on f2. But yeah. Okay, so Daniel got it. Thumbs up, thanks. I'm excited. Like you said, imposter syndrome. Yeah, imposter syndrome is tough, Pilot. I've had it in so many different arenas, right? I've had that. I was doing exactly what you're doing. I was working though with a chess company, but I was only like 1,000 at the time, and I was like, 1,000? Who am I to teach these kids? And then I get there, and they're like, how does the horsey move? And I'm like, all right, I think I'm going to be okay. But then I had this one kid who had come like 100 times, and I'd have to bring him these worksheets, and I think he was better than me, and it was really hard. I was like, oh no, I hope they don't realize that this kid is better than me. I've had it when I started teaching courses at UCLA. I was like, what? I'm teaching at UCLA? I'm just some chump. I don't deserve to be here. And then even Going back and teaching high school, it's like I'm, if anything, like I've actually had students say, aren't you overqualified to teach high school? Like you've taught at UCLA and USC, but even then, my first year, I was like, I don't have any idea how to teach high school. I'm just like some guy with a PhD they pulled off the street, and they're hoping I can just like make this happen. And I feel like I did, and I do feel like I was good at it. But that first year, it was like, am I just an imposter here? So, and then now imagine making a chess podcast when you're bad at chess. Now that's a real imposter syndrome. So yeah, I hear you, Pilot. Imposter syndrome it is a brutal thing. Like Foxy said, I think most of us deal with it. And most of us who have any amount of humility in us deal with imposter syndrome. I'm a little bit jealous of those people who are just like, no, I never have imposter syndrome. I'm the best at everything. And you're like, actually, you're not that good at that thing. And like, yes, I am. And you're like, well, good for you. I'm happy you can be happy and not have any imposter syndrome at all. Flying is easy. Teaching makes me a little nervous. Yeah. And you know what, Pilot? I'm just going to say this. It might even go bad, right? Like the first lesson might go horrible. It might be just truly terrible. But you know what? So what? You'll only get better. The kids will almost certainly still have fun. So just remember that. Like the worst case scenario is like, so what? All right. Yeah, I think we covered a lot of ground today. We did some tactics. We did some blindfold tactics. We did some game review. We talked about starting a club. We talked about teaching chess. And we had a great discussion on imposter syndrome. Like what didn't we cover today? And I'm going to have to go and do real life activities now. Thanks so much for coming by, everybody. I appreciate it. I especially appreciate the feedback on the game. And I think you're right. I think I need to put on my little list of things to do. Look at playing the black side of the Carlsbad. What is my plan there? Like, my plan can't be what I did, which was like wander aimlessly. That was basically my plan. Like, how do I attack the king side? If they hadn't Fianchetto'd, I would have felt better about it, but that Fianchetto setup feels so impregnable. What's the word I'm looking for? Impregnable? And impenetrable. Let's go with that. That I was having a hard time figuring out a plan there. All right. Well, that is going to do it for today. Hope you all had a good time. I know I sure did. It's fun hanging out with you all, and I'll see you all